the intro.
Okay. Hi, welcome to the Taco Cast. I'm Crystal.
I'm Will.
And you're our audience. How are you doing on this? It's an absolutely lovely Sunday. It's not too hot. It's not too cold. I'm going to get to water my tomatoes. It's nice.
I'm going to watch her not water the tomatoes.
I'm going to water the tomatoes.
She's not going to remember.
Tomatoes.
Not going to remember. And the poor tomato plants are going to wilt away. And we're not going to get any future food from our future tomato plants.
What do you mean? They're not future tomato plants. They're current tomato plants.
Well, they're current tomato plants, but future food.
Yeah.
We can't eat the plant. We have to actually get it to produce tomatoes.
You can. You can eat the plant. You don't have to eat the berry.
Ew.
Tomatoes are berries.
Are they?
Mm-hmm.
So...
Watermelons are berries, too.
They're a fruit?
Yeah, tomatoes are fruits.
Well, why do they qualify as a vegetable?
Most people think of fruits as being sweet.
Well,
tomatoes actually are fairly sweet, but they also have a large amount of acidity too. So,
well, like in school lunch programs, they consider ketchup a vegetable.
Yes.
And tomato sauce, like for pizza, as a vegetable.
Mm-hmm.
There's so many things wrong with America.
I also consider tomatoes to be a vegetable.
All right. So, what are we covering today?
So I thought we were going to talk a little bit about the United States and our problem with weird-ass cults.
Weird cults? Really? We have a lot of weird, religions and cults, I guess you could call it, here. But which one do you want to talk about in particular?
Well, I think there's been two that have been in the news recently. Josh Duggar, I think everybody is familiar with what happened to him.
Is he a cult?
A lot of people consider the Quiverful movement to be a cult. Not perhaps in the it's not super tight knit. There's various factions, right? But so maybe not necessarily in the traditional sense, but a lot of people do consider the Quiverful movement to be a cult, especially people who've escaped the Quiverful movement.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
So there's this idea, Quiverful is a reference to a passage in the Bible where it's like something about like children, a quiver full of them. So, basically you've just got like all of these kids and you're just right.
19 kids
just
and counting.
Shoot them everywhere, right? So you're going to have all of these kids. And it's this movement that, basically if you have a vagina, your role in life is to just squip kids out like a machine gun, just like boop, 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 boop. That'd be a cannon, not a machine gun. Boop, 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 boop. Just like shoot them out everywhere.
That's a good reference.
Yeah, thank you. So I guess a machine gun would be more like...
Well, how fast can you produce them?
Well, about 10 months.
10 months.
Yeah, about 10 months.
Can't do it any faster.
No. You have to, 10 months at a time. Although, kind of just segue into that a little bit. So you see so much emphasis when it comes to reproduction put on women, right? But it takes a woman 10 months bare minimum to make a kid. Whereas a dude can make as many kids as he has time and stamina for in the day. So really, guys are redundant. We don't need nearly as many of them as we have.
Okay. Well, that's a good segue. Men are useless.
Not useless, we just don't need a lot of them,
Just need some good ones.
I mean, think about it. When you're raising...
You need some good seeds.
You're so... When you're raising chickens, right? Do you need a bunch of roosters? Nah, so you kill them and eat them.
But we don't eat roosters. We eat the chicks.
No,
the female.
Well, it depends on where you're at. There's a reason why, when you go to Europe, even though I find it hilarious because I'm from the U.S. and we're all 12, you'll see listings for, cock soup and stuff like that. Because it's specifically made from a rooster and not from a hen.
Okay, so back to weird cults and religions and getting away from this tangent that we're on now. So that was in the news?
Yeah, so
what did Josh Duggar do now? I mean, that disgusting, piece of, human, existence.
Yeah, well, so they started an investigation about a year and a half ago, I believe it was, into him, and if I remember correctly, it started because of some kind of tax thing, I want to say.
Yeah, it was from his auto business.
And they discovered that he was downloading videos depicting minors. I don't know what you can say on YouTube. There's rules. Videos depicting minors in situations that minors should never be in. Is
Well,
that vague enough that everybody gets it and that YouTube
he
won't
was
get mad?
he was caught with child pornography.
I don't think you can say that on YouTube, can
Well,
you?
I don't think you can say anything on YouTube because unless it fits with their ideology, and everything else. But I mean, they're not monetizing us.
Yeah. So he was
So
caught with videos that are roundly considered by most law enforcement to be the worst videos that they have seen.
the officer who was in charge of the investigation, who worked for Homeland Security, I now believe he works for the FBI. But he said in his 30 years of law enforcement and arresting and and targeting, catching these online predators, that the uh, video footage that they found on Duggar's computer and the excessive amount of child pornography that he had traded and sold through his business computer was some of the most disgusting content that he has ever seen in his 30 years of law enforcement. I mean, it's pretty bad when someone who is a hardened law enforcement officer, who and that's all he investigates, and goes after. And when he comes out and says this, is the most disturbing stuff that he has ever seen in his life.
Yeah, bad enough that the person who produced the video that Duggar had purchased, the country that he's being held in, because that person was found and arrested a while ago, actually.
Yeah.
The country that person is in is discussing, several lawmakers are discussing bringing back the death penalty in that country, specifically for this person.
And I believe they all should die.
And so my opinion maybe varies from some people. I'm of the opinion that people who consume those kinds of products are just as responsible as the people who produce them.
Yeah.
Because they're creating the market. Ergo, the argument that Josh Duggar didn't actually hurt those children, I disagree with. I think he did. Because him and people like him produce that they are the market for that. And I think he should be treated with the exact same treatment as the person who produced the video.
The most, besides the disturbing nature of what Josh Duggar did and who he is, the people that I'm disgusted at the most are his parents and his wife. His parents for not protecting their own daughter and the other children.
Daughters, plural. He abused several of their children.
Yeah. His sisters. Those and the other girls that he made them, bring to him so he could abuse. They're disgusting, and they should be held to the full extent
By
of the
their
law.
disgusting, Will is specifically referring to the parents, not to the...
Yeah, not the victim. But, and then his wife for defending him for what it's blatant what he did and how he did it and everything else.
Well, and
they lined it all out in court.
She didn't necessarily know specifically what he was doing, but she knew he was up to something because she was installing tracking software on his computer.
Yeah.
He partitioned it, so, the tracking software was on one and he was using the other, but she knew he was up to something. And I think that's part of why I'm so angry at her, is because she knew he was up to something, and she's got kids with this guy.
Why was she not? And see, I have such a hard time dealing with anybody who and trying to wrap my head around why anybody would hurt a child. First off, I just can't wrap my head around that. And as hardened and jaded as I probably should be at this point in my career on YouTube, and doing true crime reporting day in and day out, researching it 6 days a week. And I'm so down that rabbit hole of in the true crime and crime reporting. I mean, it gets to you after a while, but I'll never be able to understand how somebody can harm a child. It is the lowest of the lowest to me. And somebody who would do something like that to their children.
I think resoundingly across cultures, most people feel that way because most crime has a root that's pretty easy to see, right?
Yeah.
Oftentimes people steal because they need something, right? Sometimes don't. You've got those outliers, people who are kleptomaniacs or whatever. But for the most part, most crime has an easily identifiable root. And it's part of the reason why oftentimes at societies, we realize that there's mitigating circumstances. Hungry people steal food, right? So we're disinclined to punish people harshly in certain societies. Some people are just like, fuck it, you die. But, we're disinclined to punish people harshly if we can, we understand you are under pressure, right? Even for things that are egregious, such as murder. There's crimes of passion. You walk in and your dude is boning your best friend, and you fucking pick up a vase and kill her. Okay, we can't be going around killing people, but as a society, we understand you are under extreme emotional distress, and we can understand how that might lead to that. We're going to punish you, but, less. And so I think as a people, we kind of understand this. Even for people who haven't studied criminology, I think most people in society have an understanding that crime has roots, and depending on what those roots are, stuff like that. And I think part of the reason why crimes against children are considered so awful is because there's literally nothing that justifies it. There is no reason.
Yeah. But I don't know. It comes to people like, Josh Duggar. It's like, why would you get married to somebody has already done that? He didn't have to be held accountable legally for what he did. I mean, yeah, he did get sent off to his dad's best friend, who prayed with him every day and made him actually get a job.
No, he had to pull weeds, I think, because
Well, I know it sounds like she's joking, but seriously, that's what he did. He used a broom around construction sites and homes that were being sold. He pulled weeds, did gardening, and that was he was repenting, and that was his punishment.
It's one of the reasons why I have a big problem with the whole, oh, the devil got into me. No, it was you. When you're putting, and it's one of the things that I have an issue with this whole movement as a general rule. Oh, you didn't do anything bad. Someone made you. That's not taking ownership. That's
right.
You know what I mean? Like, how can you really be better if you don't take ownership? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I think it's also really easy, and I think that we need to take a hard look as a society. It's easy for people like Josh Duggar to be created when you have an environment that tells you women exist for the pleasure of men.
Yeah.
That, that men are in charge, and men are, just by their nature of having a penis, better and great.
Well, we are. Well, but I was going to say, at the same time, though, we see a huge amount of on the internet itself, no accountability for what people do and what they say to someone. I mean, you can go out and if you can absolutely destroy a channel, a YouTube creator who has worked hard, for many months, or years, in a short period of time, you can go out and buy a campaign to absolutely destroy them. You can Google it, and there are companies out there that all they do is work at destroying an actual channel. For like $3,000, you can ruin someone's life.
That's a very reasonable price.
Right? You can do everything from having them arrested or investigated from, by the Homeland Security. They have different tiers along the way. Well, what, you don't like what they're doing because they're competing against you? Well, how about we just we set a campaign of 50,000 dislikes to every one of their videos. And YouTube knows that these companies exist, but they say that they're helpless to actually stop it. They can't do anything about it. And then people will leave comments. And I see it all the time on the internet and on my content, to some extent. Now, not as much as it used to be, but where they'll come in and these bots are they're programs that are built up, just to cause drama and hate. They'll leave replies to every single comment, like, if there's a female sounding name like Sarah, the comment will just be "you stupid bee," as a reply to that person. So that person then gets a notification that their comment was replied to by someone. They click on that, and these bots have a purpose of, well, I ain't going back to that channel. I'm not commenting on that content. I'm not watching that stuff anymore if this is the kind of people that are there. So then they go away. Then they never come back. And they just go on until the next attack. If they happen to be on another channel someplace and watching content and leave a comment, hey, like the video, thank you. But there's no accountability out there for a large extent of it. It's slowly getting better, but these companies are going to be there, and these people are going to be there to do nothing but cause drama for people, and there's no accountability for them. So it sucks, and that's the world we live in. Everybody's sitting behind a keyboard nowadays, and they can say and do whatever they want. And they're like, hey, you know what? No one's ever going to come after me for what I did or what I said. I have rights, man. You can't go into a crowded movie theater and scream fire. You certainly the hell can't say whatever you want about someone. Even though it's not true. You have no evidence to back it up. And then there are people like Josh Duggar, who the internet is their playground. And the dark web that they are on is filled with people like them. It's sad, when you think about it. It's like, where the hell the world is going. And if it's this bad now, where will it be in 50 years from now? How many Josh Duggars are out there that haven't been caught, that haven't been brought to light? And it's sick. It's sick as hell. So the other case that we were looking at had to do with a plane crash.
Oh yeah, the Remnant Fellowship prophet.
And
the prophet
who are the remnant prophecies or whatever they are?
It was like it's a weight loss church, a weight loss church. So, from what I'm understanding, from reading a couple of people who were in this church beforehand, so it's this gal, the prophet of the Remnant Fellowship, had written like a weight loss book or something like that, and I'm just gonna go straight, like, I'm a hefty girl, like, I get it, right? But there's a point on the skinny side when you're super unhealthy, and when your hair and fingernails are falling out, you've reached that side.
The Karen Carpenter look.
Oh yeah, like seriously emaciated.
Anorexia.
Yeah, so. She had this, started as a weight loss book and grew a cult out of it, and she was a prophet and a prophetess, I guess, and apparently there were people in the church who wanted to leave, and who basically took the plane crash as their chance to just fucking slip out the door and be like, pack your stuff and see ya.
Back to the plane crash thing.
Yeah.
When did that happen?
Last weekend, I believe it was. Not 100%.
How many people died?
It was everybody on the plane.
Okay.
7.
I mean, that happens a lot in plane crashes. Everybody dies.
You know what? That's actually true. Air flight is actually a really, really safe way to fly. The problem is when it goes bad for usually like a lot of people all at once. It's,
So there were 7 people who died in a plane crash.
Yes, and 7 people who died in a plane crash on their way to Florida. They were going to some political rally.
Well, a lot of strange things happen in Florida.
Right?
I mean, there's a reason why there's a Florida man meme.
That's true. There's a reason why there's a Florida man meme. Yeah, they were going to some political thing, and the whole plane went down. I guess her husband was an actor, some like B-list actor or something like that.
Was he on the plane?
Mm-hmm.
Huh. Well, they're gone.
Yeah.
And when people, cults like that are exterminated, basically because everybody dies in a plane crash, there's usually somebody who picks right back up right where they were.
Yeah, I believe there's somebody who's in a position to take over the church in the ensuing power vacuum. But
They have a church,
yeah,
an actual church,
yeah, they have
like
an actual
building.
church. Yeah, they've got people. Yeah, they have an
Wow,
actual. So a lot
that's
of
something
times
that a
these
lot of
cults
cults
are
don't
like
have.
their personality. It's lots of times there's a person
Cult of
around.
personality.
Yes. There's a person around whom. It's one of the reasons why, while I consider the Quiver Full movement to be a cult personally, they don't have that one central figure that a lot of cults do. A lot of cults disband when something happens to that one central figure.
Well, go on.
No, I don't want him.
New Age cult, Prince of Darkness, the 666 Antichrist and New Order, Satanism, 666,
What in the world?
the Devil's Alphabet, world's weirdest cults,
So actually, I noticed that
Satan.
most of these books, right, are like, devil, Satan, blah, 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 blah. But in my opinion, that's actually kind of misleading because most of the cults that spring up are around the Judeo-Christian
Mhm.
faith. So we've got a ton of cults. Very, very few of them have anything to do with Satanism. In fact, the modern Church of Satan isn't even a faith institution. It's an institution of atheists and agnostics that was put together to challenge the Establishment Clause, or not to challenge, but to challenge breaches to the Establishment Clause of the Constitution.
Well, I was gonna say that the reason why I got the books out was after the Heaven's Gate cult, they all committed mass suicide because they believed their mothership was behind the Halley's Comet and it was coming for them, and so they all I think they did do it by cyanide, sleeping pills and cyanide. But after they were every member, people who were in the Heaven's Gate cult, after they all died and they were all found, it turned out that there were a lot more members who weren't there. Those were the people who were supposed to be the first ones on the mothership, but there were a whole lot of people who were out around the world who are still members and they're still there and they are recruiting actively according to the Department of Justice. And it's scary because these people are, well, they're a couple fries short of a Happy Meal.
It's a question, I think, as society that I don't think we talk about, because you talk about cults and everybody recognizes that, especially in the United States,
Oops, I
you
forgot to
have a
turn my
right
phone off.
to believe whatever you want to believe. If you want to believe that squirrels are the grand masters of destiny,
They are.
you
Have you
know,
seen the squirrels? Are
you
cute.
you have a right to free exercise of your religion. But we also know that that becomes toxic in a lot of environments, right? Um, Especially for vulnerable people. Vulnerable people are seeking faith and they're seeking connection. And
Well, that's
cults,
human nature,
yeah,
though.
and cults come along and they have that.
If they fulfill it and they give you that sense of reason, and that's how they get a lot of people in. It's like, well, you're lost, and you don't have a sense of direction and destiny. Well, let me tell you about my church. We
Yes,
can help you, fulfill that
precisely.
that gap. Yeah, I know. I've read a lot about it and how their recruitment is.
And so, as a society, I think we need to discuss where we're going to be as far as balancing an individual's need to believe whatever shit they want to, regardless of how out there it is, with the danger to society. Especially because some of these cults, as I think Josh Duggar clearly shows, are a danger to society. Now, in my opinion, the environment in which he was raised is part of what predicated his crimes against
Oh
children. Because I don't believe that you can separate him from that. He's raised in a very misogynistic environment where men are considered to be, basically, you can do what you want. Women, Anna, for all that I have issues with her parenting, because I don't believe that you should stay with somebody who abuses children once you find that out, isn't really allowed to leave, you know, because the environment that she was raised in, that same strict, quiverful environment, men are in charge and a woman can't leave. So,
but you don't have to get involved. You don't have to get into that situation in the first place. She's a beautiful woman. She had the chance to marry another Christian man,
true,
or be somewhere else with another person.
but she was raised in it.
Yeah, but she might have been raised in it, but she had the conscious effort. She made that decision, her conscious decision, to be there and want to be involved.
That's true. She is currently making that decision, and it's part of the reason why I definitely think that I don't think that she's making the best decisions for her children.
No, and we should probably give everybody a disclaimer that it wasn't Obama or who started this.
No, Biden. She says Biden is the one that
she thinks Biden started this investigation, set him up.
Yeah, even though the investigation started under Trump. Yeah, I don't know if that's megalomania or what. Like, is that a strict psychosis? Like, thinking that you are so important that the president of the United States is personally invested in sending you to jail. I don't understand. Like, is that just like an overblown sense of self-importance?
Well, people believe that Hillary was running a pedophile ring out of a pizzeria in New York in the basement. So, I mean, if they'll believe that, why not believe that? Right?
And you gotta so the guy who bust in there to save the kids, like, on the one hand, I'm actually super proud of him, right? Because it's dumb, and I get that, but he legitimately believed the dumb, but he did something about it, right? There's tons of people who say they believe it, but they were just like, wow, this is awful, right? So I'm like, hey, this dude actually thought it was true and went to go help the kids that didn't exist, but that he thought were in distress, and that's admirable, goddammit.
Even if it's really stupid.
Even if it's crazy and really stupid, that's admirable.
That's true. He did take action.
Mm-hmm.
He put boots to the ground and actually went and did something.
That's right.
About it.
We just need to talk to him and be like, dude, just because it's on the internet doesn't mean it's real. What the fuck? But take these good thoughts and do something else that's not.
Yeah. It is true. He actually acted on it. Crazy it was.
God, could you imagine those poor people? You're just sitting down eating pizza with your family, and all of a sudden some guy's like, "Where are the kids?" And just like, I don't fucking know.
Or the people who work there.
Right?
They're
like, take me to your basement. And he's like, we don't fucking have one.
Yeah, no basement at all. But it's like the video of the officer trying to explain to him, look, there is no kids in the basement of this place. There is no basement. I don't know where he thought that. He's like, oh, I saw it on the internet. And he's like, I'll take you, into the building, man. But he's like trying to explain to him, look, this is just crazy. You really need to get off the internet. But there's a lot of people out there that don't fact check, or look into anything. They read it, they believe it. That's got to be, real. So. Oh,
there's conspiracies about everything. The charity foundation that I support. Earlier today, you just need to look deeper, and then you'll see the nefarious roots.
I'm a shill, by the way.
Are you?
Yeah.
Who are you shilling for?
Next for autism. It's not ours. It's the kids that live behind our the next house over. On the other side of the street.
Are you getting shill bucks?
I was wondering. They said that the conspiracy is that I'm a shill for the Next for Autism. That there is no Next for Autism Foundation. That all the money that I've been raising for Next for Autism, and all the money that Mark Rober, the YouTuber, is making for Next for Autism, the millions of dollars that we've raised. is going right into our bank accounts.
Could you explain to me then why I'm driving that?
I know, right? I'm like, where are my millions?
Yeah, no, I'm just saying,
I
if you've
think
got
I
millions
got
of
the wrong bank
dollars,
account number or
I
something.
would like something where the air conditioner
Yeah.
works.
Right?
Just saying.
Well, the air conditioner works. It's the blender that
The air conditioner works if you enjoy having your knees cold and everything else sweltering.
Yeah. Yeah, but it's gonna cost more to fix it than the car is worth. So, yeah, I mean, I guess you could also say that Christianity is a cult as well. If depending on where you actually draw the line, on what's a cult and what isn't a cult.
Well, honestly, when it comes to religions, faith of any kind, my line is on whether or not it causes harm. If it's a benefit to you and it's bringing something positive to your life, that's awesome. That's great. When it starts to be a detriment, when it starts to cause harm to you, cause harm to your life, cause harm to the people around you, when it starts to
Financially, physically, or emotionally.
When it starts to limit your social connections, when you find yourself in financial constraints because of all of your money is going to the church, when you find that you yourself are being physically or emotionally injured because of the church or the church leaders or people in the church,
Yeah.
that's when it's a problem. And that can be, not even talking about cults, that can be across denominations for widespread accepted religions. Not everybody fits in any given any given sect of a religion. Some people enjoy the rituals of Catholicism. Some people enjoy the more progressiveness of the Protestant movement. Some people enjoy
Methodists.
The coloring books of the Methodists.
You said Protestant. I'm like, Methodist. Methodist coloring book.
The point being is that
it's an inside joke.
It's a
song. A song by the Dead Milkmen. Methodist coloring book. But
yeah, no. The point is though, as long as it's something that's bringing value to your life, and if it's not, there's literally hundreds of thousands of gods out there. Find one that you enjoy.
Yeah. Well,
I got fingernail polish on my hand.
You did. And you colored our son's fingernails and toenails.
He asked. He also insisted that I color my hand and nothing else, just the one hand. Our son has been dictating that everybody get their nails and toes done and dictating what colors to use.
Well, it comes off. So there's that. You don't believe in anything, right?
I believe in lots of stuff.
Religion-wise, religion. You're. Yeah.
I'm a theistic agnostic.
Yeah.
I like.
I was going to get it out of my mouth. I was like, I
like the idea that there is a creator being that is personally invested in my well-being and loves me for who I am and wants to see good things happen for me. I have as of yet to see any material evidence that that is a thing. I also subscribe to the philosophical notion that the supernatural, by its nature, cannot be quantified. Ergo, there is no point in attempting to quantify it, because once it becomes quantifiable, it is no longer supernatural.
Okay. Well, thank you, Crystal.
You're welcome.
How did we get in this relationship?
The alcohol?
That was what it was. The one night stand that wouldn't go away.
No, right? When are you taking your stuff and going home?
I'm not. I'm here for good.
Oh.
I know. I told you. You gotta choose more wisely.
Sign off so these fine people can go back to their day.
Nah, they don't have anything to do. At least. you know, when it comes to religion, you know, like you're saying, as long as you're not harming anybody, you know, believe in whatever you want. You know, don't hurt yourself and don't hurt others. Yeah, that's what it comes down to. And isn't that, I think that's all we can basically ask of anyone.
Hmm.
It's just
Be
don't
a
hurt.
good person.
Yeah,
Everything else is detail.
right. You know, unfortunately, we don't get a lot of people out there who actually, you know, do that though. It's easy to say, but it's hard to actually practice
It's been my experience
for a
that
lot of people.
regardless
Not everyone.
of the religious tradition, regardless, it's been my experience that people take from their religion what they brought to their religion.
Yeah.
People who are dicks graduate towards the asshole passages in their religious works, and people who are altruistic and nice gravitate to those. It's just, I have met a few, but very few people who have read the primary materials of their religious faith and gone, holy shit, my whole worldview has changed. It's been my experience that most people just take whatever they want that supports their pre-existing worldview and ignore the parts that don't, you know.
Yeah.
I personally, myself, you know, a lot of people don't realize that there's differences in different versions of the Bible. That different traditions.
What? There's more than one Bible?
There's more than one version of the Bible, and some of
What?
them have different books in them.
Do tell.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, is it the Russian Orthodox? I think it is, that has like 3 additional books that were removed out of the King James version. I think it's Russian Orthodox. Don't quote me on that.
I'm gonna quote you on it.
Yeah. So you know, and that translations change.
Oh God, do they?
From version to version. That's why a lot of people I know that are theologists, they like to study in the original Greek and Hebrew.
Yeah. Over time, it's amazing if you look at just some earlier, you know, renditions of the Bible, you know, in translation, and then look at it now and what's printed in, you know, in today's, you know, King James, you know, version of it. It's yeah, it's like some parts of it, you know, have gone from, you know, we have 25 pages to 65 pages. It's like, well, how did we get an extra 42 pages out of this? I mean, you know, the first translation was perfect. I don't know why we needed another 42 pages, you know, to say the same thing.
Well, and part of it is just the change in language. You know, what this particular word or phrase meant at the time it was written means something different now. You know, meant something different 20 years ago. I have always found the parable of sheep and goats to be particularly beautiful.
Okay. So I want to go back to the culty people in the plane crash. Was it a private jet?
I believe it was. I'm not 100% sure. I believe it was. And the gentlemen that were flying, the husband of the leader of the church, and another gentleman who I think was like her right hand or the husband of her right hand. I'm not super familiar on the relationship there, but the two of them were both pilots. But it's my understanding that there's some serious question regarding whether the pilot license for the gentleman who was flying when it crashed, like whether or not he was actually eligible, whether or not he'd fudged something. That I think that's all kind of
was it a mechanical reason side crash, or
I don't think that they know yet.
Or if it was just like their end of their prophecy. They slammed their plane into the ground on purpose.
I mean, I don't want to be a complete jerk, but if you think that you're a prophet, you would have seen that coming.
You would think. I mean, I'm just trying to think of the group itself. What was their main mission? What did they believe in? Did they believe that everybody needs to be thin?
Yes, that
because you said it started off as a weight loss program.
It started off as like biblical weight loss, or how to lose weight using the Bible or something like that, and
lose weight using the Bible. That's interesting. I've never lost any weight reading the Bible.
from what I hear,
I've lost sleep. I've never lost any weight.
Are you hungry? Just read some biblical passages until the hunger
And
goes
then the weight
away.
just sheds off itself by
Yeah.
reading the Bible. Who knew? Can we have the Stephen King weight loss program? I'll read some Stephen King until I
You
lose
can have
weight.
the Stephen King weight loss program, but what actually happens is that a monster from a Stephen King novel actually chases you until you lose weight.
Okay. My luck though, if I would end up in Kingdom Hospital.
It's not a bad place to
That's
be.
my luck. I'd end up there, or strapped to a bed while you're breaking my ankles. So I'd finish.
Are you kidding? Then you'd have to stay. I wouldn't be able to get you out of the house
Oh,
at
that's
all.
right. And I'm the one night stand that didn't go away. You want me to leave? Well. Alrighty. Well, I guess we'll wrap it up there. Let everybody get back to their day. I guess they have other things they want to do. So, what do you have planned for next week? Do we have a topic for next week's podcast that we want to let everybody in on? A little super secret. Hey, you watch this one so you can know next week.
I don't.
No?
Not even a little bit. But if you guys have something you'd like us to cover rather than just rambling for half an hour, feel free to let us know.
Yeah. Because otherwise we're just going to come back next week and we're going to ramble on about everything and nothing at the same time.
We'll talk about zucchini all day.
The what?
Zucchini all day. It's just going to be an
Zucchini?
all day long zucchini thread. We're just going to live stream from morning till night about zucchini.
Not really. No, we're not going to do that. No, we're not. We're not going to talk about zucchini. We don't even grow zucchini.
Well, shut up. Click the off button.
Oh yeah, right. Don't forget, water your tomatoes.
Wait, don't forget, you stay safe out there.
That's my life. Bye.